Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 90th part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, my Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is Ibly. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 90, Sir Night-Eye. The way to Sir Night-Eye's agency wasn't so bad as it was just an hour train ride. Which was better than the others who were in different prefectures. Still they had to meet and talk with him. Though on the way there Mirio did bring this up. The best way to get on Ho's good side is to make him laugh, said Mirio. Really? Asked Izuku, surprised. There was an awkward silence among the four. Mirio realized that none of the three would be someone to make them laugh. He could tell that Izuku was very awkward and wasn't the type to tell a good joke. Katsuki was very angry and also didn't seem like to tell a good joke. Todoroki clearly never made a real joke in his life, intentional ones maybe, but not real ones. Mirio wasn't sure what to say with that. So, said Izuku, reglazing why he was looking at them, tell him how Frankie joined? Mirio laughed. Pro Bowl a good idea, he said. What? Asked Todoroki. We'll explain later, said Izuku. They arrived at the agency and entered Sir Night-Eye's office. And things got extremely awkward. They found a woman with blue skin who was scantily clad being tickled by a machine while a tall skinny man with green and yellow hair watched. There was an awkward silence among the three first years. And then suddenly Izuku's face turned red, steam came out of his head and he passed out. What just happened? Yelled Mirio, who wasn't informed about the personality clashes. Hold on, the computer will explain everything better, said Katsuki. He pressed the Aiko button on his cuff. Really you're calling me? Said Aiko confusedly. Thanks to a camera on the cuff she saw what they stumbled onto. Is Izuku passed out? Asked Aiko. He is, confirmed Todoroki. Okay, what the hell did you just walk in on? Yelled Aiko, because I'm pretty sure that this is not a normal thing for a hero. Yeah, this is something that Sir does sometimes, said Mirio. I have so many questions, but I'm going to have to explain this first, said Aiko. Should we wait for Midoriya to wake up? Asked Todoroki. Also stop torturing that poor girl, said Aiko. Aiko introduced herself after they freed the sidekick, with the sidekick named Bubble Girl asking the obvious question. Of course Izuku eventually woke up and Aiko with some help from Izuku, he was embarrassed by this, / I didn't know it was that bad for priestess victims, said the sidekick that Sir Night-Eye was torturing. It's really rare though, said Aiko, but yeah. Izuku was kind of the opposite of his past life when it comes to women. Izuku just covered his face in embracement. He's a pure cinnamon roll while his past life probably peeped on woman, said Aiko. Actually, said Katsuki. Don't say anything, yelled Izuku, going into Sanji mode. You don't seem surprised at this, said Mirio to Todoroki. Midoriya accidentally told me during the sports festival, said Todoroki. Todoroki, said Izuku, covering his face. Anyways, if it's a day he's going to be here you have to lock the door, or at least put something like a tie or a sock on the doorknob if you have to tickle torture, said Aiko. Izuku covered his face even more. And if I don't? Asked Sir Night-Eye. He noticed that Mirio and Katsuki both started to glare at him. Also, you might end angering quite a few heroes, said Aiko. One of them is a master prankster and the other knows his zany schemes, so I wouldn't do that on purpose. I was just inquiring, sighed Sir Night-Eye. Sure you are, muttered Aiko. Sir Night-Eye glared at the cuff. Still, you now know, though I honestly don't mean to kink shame, but that is not a normal way to punish a sidekick, said Aiko. Who are you to judge me? Asked Sir Night-Eye. Are you saying that because I'm not human? Asked Aiko. What? Asked Sir Night-Eye. I'm not human, so you're saying I should judge you? Asked Aiko. I didn't mean it like that, said Sir Night-Eye. She's fucking with you, muttered Katsuki. What? Asked Sir Night-Eye. Take away my fun, will you? Complained Aiko. What? Asked Sir Night-Eye again. She's just trying to annoy you, said Todoroki. Oh, come on, yelled Aiko. Does she do that a lot? Asked Sir Night-Eye. All the time, sighed Izuku. I see, said Sir Night-Eye. Still, I've done my job, though I have to admit, Izuku, your embarrassment over this left you in bad shape, said Aiko. What? Asked Izuku. That was when he noticed the room there were many different rare All Might items. This is the 10th anniversary poster. Only a few were made, said Izuku, agreeing. A poster. You have eye for these things, said Sir Night-Eye, impressed that Izuku recognized the rare piece of merchandise. It deeply worries that more than one person in All Might's life are die-hard fanboys with a collection like this, said Aiko. He probably just has a tolerance for that sort of thing, muttered Katsuki. Good point, said Aiko. Anyways, later. It was clear that Aiko left. Is she like that all the time? Asked Bubble Girl. I don't know, I only met her a few days ago, said Mirio. Sir Night-Eye sighed. I will lock the door whenever I punish her if you're in the buddling, said Sir Night-Eye. Thank you, said Izuku. Sir Night-Eye had touched his shoulder. Izuku noticed that his hand touched his neck, and then he looked right in Izuku's eyes. And suddenly, he went pale. Sit? Asked Bubble Girl, becoming concerned by his face. However, Mirio quickly realized what happened and starting laughing. Sir Night-Eye looked at Mirio. Sorry, sir, but I can't help to be proud of him, said Mirio. I see, sighed Sir Night-Eye. The 3 first years were just confused. I think we're missing something, said Todoroki. No shit, muttered Katsuki with a sweat drop. Sir Night-Eye coughed. There is something I wish to discuss with Midoriya, said Sir Night-Eye. All right, said Mirio. I'll show Katsuki and Todoroki around. It was clear that the first years were a bit confused. I hope he'll be okay, said Bubble Girl. I'm more worried about Sir, laughed Mirio. What? Asked Todoroki. Wait, you mean he doesn't want to just talk? Said Katsuki. Nope, laughed Mirio. Inside the office, Izuku was a bit nervous. What did you want to talk about? Said Izuku. There's a reason why I requested you specifically, said Sir Night-Eye. Why? Asked Izuku. More than a year ago, All Might told me that he had discovered a young quirkless boy to be his successor, said Sir Night-Eye. Izuku froze. The fact that Sir Night-Eye would know about One for All didn't even cross his mind. He refused to listen to any of my ideas on his successor, said Sir Night-Eye. What? Asked Izuku. He shouldn't have given the quirk to a quirkless middle school student, said Sir Night-Eye. Izuku glared at him as her entered into Sanji mode. What are you trying to convince me to give it to Mirio? He asked sarcastically. Yes, I am, said Sir Night-Eye. I was being sarcastic, yelled Izuku. He took out a toothpick to chew on. I have been training him for quite a while, said Sir Night-Eye. And are you factoring his past life in this? Asked Izuku. I know he would have some changes to his personality, said Sir Night-Eye. The changes still affect him a lot, said Izuku. I haven't seen much of the changes, said Sir Night-Eye. I have, because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't try to eat his weight in food without his memories, said Izuku. What? Asked Sir Night-Eye. Mirio should explain it to you, said Izuku. Sir Night-Eye looked at Izuku. I do need to get to know his new personality, admitted Sir Night-Eye, but that doesn't change my mind. That was when something hit Izuku. Does he know about All for One? He asked. I haven't told him. Because I feel like only you or All Might should tell him, said Sir Night-Eye. That cemented it. He knew he should not give Mirio the quirk. If he had no idea about any of them, then he knew what was going to happen. Then I really have no plan to ever give it to him, said Izuku. Well, I guess I have to show you that you're not worthy, said Sir Night-Eye. What? Asked Izuku. If you and your friends want to do your work studies here, you have to take my stamp and stamp your contracts yourself, said Sir Night-Eye. Are you serious? Asked Izuku. Mirio knew I was going to test you, said Sir Night-Eye. Izuku was about to say something but then realized that Mirio wouldn't tell him that there would be some sort of test. So we're going to be fighting, said Izuku. We are, sighed Sir Night-Eye as if he was resigned to something. What was that reaction? Thought Izuku. That was when he realized something. Wait, we're going to fight in here? Asked Izuku. Why are you too afraid to fight me? Asked Sir Night-Eye. No, of course not, said Izuku. I'm just worried about your collection. Sir Night-Eye looked at him. If you're careful, you won't damage it, said Sir Night-Eye. Izuku looked at the hero. He scowled. He was going to be careful though, but he figured that it was part of that test. She placed the transceiver on a nearby table so he wouldn't but summon Aiko. It would not be a good idea for her to listen on this conversation. So should we get started? Asked Izuku. Sir Night-Eye nodded. Izuku practically flew to Sir Night-Eye with a kick, however Sir Night-Eye easily dodged. He knew that he had to try again, however once again Sir Night-Eye dodged the kick. Izuku got a feeling about the fight. That was when he realized that Sir Night-Eye was dodging perfectly. You're predicting my movements, said Izuku. I am, said Sir Night-Eye. You see, my quirk is foresight. If I have skin contact and look in someone's eyes, I can see into their future for 1 hour a day. Izuku began to sweat. He knew how difficult it was to fight someone who could see into the future. However, that was when he remembered as they were fighting, his reaction earlier, the moment he saw into the future. The fact that Sir Night-Eye made. Now that he knew that Sir Night-Eye could see into the future, the face he made more sense. He had seen that face a few times in his past life. He just had to figure out the best plan. And that was when he came up with the one he hoped would work. He channeled as much armament haki he could while using as much one for all at the same time and then attacked him from behind. Sir Night-Eye was sent to the floor and Izuku picked up the stamp. You foresaw me beating you, said Izuku. I did, said Sir Night-Eye. Yeah. I remember seeing that face a few times in my past life, said Izuku. People who could see into the future and getting their ass kicked. You fought people who could see into the future in your past life? Asked Sir Night-Eye. Very short visions. Mirio should be the one to explain it to you, said Izuku. As it was clear that Sir Night-Eye did not know anything about Mirio's past life, namely that his abilities in haki. Sanji was great as using observation haki, but Luffy was a master so much that he could see into the future, though only a short bit into the future. You need to understand his past life, sighed Izuku. He'll be himself most of the times, but sometimes, well. Izuku sighed and tried to figure out the best way to explain Luffy. He wasn't so much a person in his past life as a person-shaped force of nature, said Izuku. There's nothing you can say that will convince me otherwise, said Sir Night-Eye. Izuku sighed. I will say the same to you, said Izuku. After all, he had so many reasons not to give to Mirio. Look, I should let you know, Katsuki knows about One for All, said Izuku. Does All Might know he knows? Asked Sir Night-Eye. He does, said Izuku. I see, said Sir Night-Eye. Also Aiko knows too, said Izuku as she would pop up there time to time considering the 3 transceivers, as Todoroki was given one too along with the big 3, and the cuff. You told that rude AI? Asked Sir Night-Eye. No. All Might did, said Izuku. Actually he told her creator while she was there, which is how she knows. Orchestra rave, said Sir Night-Eye. Yes, said Izuku. Sir Night-Eye didn't seem surprised, maybe it was because of recent events. The fact that Hibiki helped him in the fight with All for One was a big deal after all. Izuku stamped the 3 contracts. He knew it was going to be annoying dealing with Sir Night-Eye trying to get him to give Mirio the quirk. But he knew that wouldn't matter. Though she realized something. Why did you choose Mirio as your choice for All Might's successor? Asked Izuku. I saw something in him that I knew that would carry on All Might's status as the symbol of peace, he answered. Said Sir Night-Eye. Izuku sighed as he had Haki activated when asking it. So it's subconsciously, he thought. Sir Night-Eye also looked at his office. There was barely even a mess. You really did do a good job, keep things clean, said Sir Night-Eye. I did my best, said Izuku with a shrug. The 2 of them left the office. Turned out Mirio filled the other 2 in on the fact that Sir Night-Eye could see into the future, but Katsuki had also recognized the face he made and knew that Izuku beat him. You beat him, said Mirio looking proud. I did, said Izuku. I knew it, laughed Mirio. All 3 of you are now my students. I expect you all to follow Mirio's example, said Sir Night-Eye. He doesn't know, does he? Asked Katsuki. He doesn't, said Izuku. Idiot, said Katsuki. I did try to warn him, said Izuku. Katsuki just rolled his eyes. However, he noticed that something was off with Izuku. They soon headed back to UA. During the train ride, Izuku got a text. What is it? Asked Katsuki. All Might's out the hospital, said Izuku. He wants to meet up? Asked Todoroki. He does, said Izuku. Once they got back to UA, Izuku headed to where All Might wanted to meet up. All Might, he called out. All Might, who was covered in some bandages but otherwise looked fine, was happy to see him. Young Midoriya, so I heard you're doing a work studies, said All Might. Yeah, sighed Izuku. I heard you didn't go with your first choice, said All Might. No, Aoi wasn't able to, sighed Izuku. All Might had heard about his friendship with the other hero after all and knew that if he had done work studies it would have been focused on him doing analysis, which wasn't a bad idea, nurturing something he's kind of been neglecting in recent months. It wasn't like Izuku wasn't having a hard time training. So, how are things with you and young Togata? Said All Might. Oh yeah. I was able to tell you, said Izuku. He's Luffy's reincarnation. All Might's eyes widened at that. Really? He asked. Really? Said Izuku. I'm glad it worked out, said All Might. Yeah, mostly, sighed Izuku. We do have to start babysitting him again, but he's not as bad Luffy was, so there's that. Do I want to know? Asked All Might. No, sighed Izuku. Who are you doing work studies with? Said All Might. Sir Night-Eye, sighed Izuku. All Might was surprised. He? Said All Might. He's trying to get me to give one for all to Mirio, said Izuku, but I'm not going to do it. All Might was surprised. He would have thought that Izuku would have doubts. You have more than one reason for not giving it to him, it sounds like, said All Might. You have no idea, said Izuku. Really, what are some of them? Said All Might. I am not giving Luffy's reincarnation that kind of power, said Izuku, who then shuddered like he was blocking something from his past life. All Might's sweat dropped. There are other reasons, like how you chose me and Sir Night-Eye doesn't have a say in who you get to choose, said Izuku. All Might was surprised by that reason. I'm surprised you realized that, said All Might. Izuku blushed. But the biggest reason, said Izuku, who then told All Might the reason. You really think that? Asked All Might. I am 100% sure of it, said Izuku. All Might nodded. He then sighed. All Might, what's wrong? Asked Izuku. Oh, nothing at all, said All Might. Izuku looked at All Might. All Might, said Izuku. All Might sighed and knew he had to come clean. Something he'd been hiding for a long time. He predicted your death? Asked Izuku. Yes, within the next year, said All Might. Izuku sighed. Listen, young Midoriya, said All Might. I don't believe it, said Izuku. Wait, what? Asked All Might. That was when he realized that probably dealt with future visions in his past life. Something like that happened in your past life, didn't it? Asked All Might. It's a long story, but a psychic mermaid predicted something, but the vision, while it did happen, didn't happen the way she interrupted it, said Izuku. All Might's eyes widened at that. I don't know if it's 100% going to happen, but I'm thinking there's some kind of twist involved in the vision, said Izuku. All Might nodded. He could tell that Izuku didn't believe it. But neither one clearly didn't want to talk about it anymore. Did anything else happen? Asked All Might. Oh yeah, I'm dating Achiko, said Izuku. All Might laughed. You're not worried? Asked Izuku. My boy, she's a hero in training and she was a ninja in her past life. If push comes to shove, I know she can handle herself, but if you two do come serious, she does need to be careful, said All Might. I know, said Izuku with a nod. They talked about a few things before parting ways for the night. All Might didn't have the heart to tell Izuku that his visions always came true, but the fact that farther in the future the vision was, the more blurry it was, so maybe there was a twist in the vision now that he thought about it. When Izuku got back to the dorms. Deku, we need to talk, said Katsuki. After dinner, said Izuku. Because it was clear that there was plenty of time despite being the evening that he could make dinner for everyone. Fine, muttered Katsuki. Of course, during dinner, Ida made sure everyone there understood that it wouldn't be uncommon where Izuku would be able to cook a meal for a day, that for dinner's the occasional breakfast they would have to come up with some plan. Once dinner was over, Katsuki dragged Izuku to his room so they could talk. What the fuck happened with the fight? Muttered Katsuki. Izuku sighed and knew he had to come clear to Katsuki. He knows about One for All, said Izuku. Katsuki's eye narrowed. He was All Might's sidekick, muttered Katsuki. It's not only that, he's trying to get me to give to Mirio, said Izuku. He's been training Mirio for a while, so he that could be All Might's successor and not me. And that was when it hit all at Katsuki. Wait. Is that why he fucking asked for you? So he can convince you to give it to him? Yelled Katsuki. Yeah, sighed Izuku. He began to repeat fuck over and over again, calming down by knowing he should go into Zoro mode while also Firecracker walking over to help calm him down. Don't you dare give it to him, said Katsuki. Don't worry, I have so many reasons not to give it to him, said Izuku. You better not give it to him, muttered Katsuki. Don't worry. I won't, said Izuku. You better not be thinking of doing it either. muttered Katsuki. Don't worry, the only way I would think of it is in a world where Mirio was never attacked by pre-stress, said Izuku. Katsuki glared at his friend. That better a joke, said Katsuki. Izuku's sweat dropped. That was when Katsuki realized something else and left Zoro mode. Fuck! He looks like All Might, yelled Katsuki. I know, sighed Izuku. Katsuki looked at Izuku. I asked him why he chose him, sighed Izuku. He doesn't seem to notice it consciously. Shit, muttered Katsuki. We have to tell Mirio, said Izuku. How? asked Katsuki. Izuku didn't look sure about it. How though? said Izuku. I mean, he's been mentoring Mirio for a couple years now. Katsuki was about to say something, but then realized, how are they going to tell him that, hey, your mentor has been grooming you to being the next All Might? Yeah, it could only end badly. We can't not tell him, but we have to figure out how, sighed Izuku. Fuck! yelled Katsuki. Why did this have to happen? Because of new rules, sighed Izuku. Katsuki just groaned. There was a lot to handle with Mirio, and neither one would know that things would only get far more complicated with their first patrol. Far more than anything they could even predict. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 91. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.